Waking up from the narcissistic matrix. Think about that for a minute. So, you are now understanding more about narcissism. You're learning about empathy. You're learning about energy, mindset, clarity. You're also understanding that your thinking is totally different than most people's thinking. You're going to realize in this video, and I've shared it for over 5 years, what the everyday fog means. You're going to also begin to understand who you were before you met the narcissist, what happened when you were with them, and who you are now. Now, I'm going to tie it all together. That movie, The Matrix, it came out, I believe, 1999. It was very pivotal. It was a very informative movie that was way ahead of its time. You didn't realize that you were in your own version of The Matrix. See, now you're getting it. Now you're understanding a lot more about not only what that movie meant, but your life is what really matters. You see, the movie was fiction. Your life is real. And life can be stranger than fiction. And just like that movie, and I'll stop referencing the movie in a moment, The Matrix, the person was given two options. Take the red pill and become activated, if you will. See things the way they really are. Take the blue pill and you go back the way you were. Meaning, for my terms, that's reference to the everyday fog. Now, most people on the planet are in the everyday fog. What is the everyday fog? It's where people are just living their life and they're not thinking about all of the toxicity that's around them. They're thinking that everybody has their best interest at heart, and they're drinking the same coffee from the same coffee mug, and they don't believe that narcissism exists, or it hasn't affected them yet. At least they don't believe it has. And they're just doing whatever they're doing. Now, I personally lived in the everyday fog most of my life, and that is not where you want to be. Now, many people may say, no, if I could take that blue pill and go back to the way I was before I met the narcissist, I would do it gladly. I personally would not. I would want to know what I know, because wisdom is information. Information is wisdom. Knowledge is power. Experience is everything. And when you see behind the curtain, you see behind the mask, and you realize that you didn't take a red pill or a blue pill, you were trapped in a narcissistic relationship for quite a long period of time. When you realize that, and you also realize and accept and embrace the fact that you're out of the relationship and you are totally different, even now, than you were 2 minutes and 34 seconds ago, because you are on the path. When you realize that, that is a great space to be in. It is a daunting space. It can be very challenging. It can be very cumbersome. It can be overwhelming and very exhausting at times, because you are not in the everyday fog. I'm going to go back to that for a moment. People that are in the everyday fog, they do what they do because they don't realize that there are predators at the front door. They do what they do because they don't realize that the nightly news or that movies that they watch could actually happen to them. They don't realize that, narcissism is all swarming all around them. And again, I was one of those people. Think about this. How often in the old days when you used to watch the news, and you should know by now, I don't watch the news. I don't watch many things at all. I focus on myself, and I pay it forward to create videos and help you to become awakened and aware, educated and empowered, and break the ties from the narcissist. But think about this. When you would be watching the news in the old days, or maybe you're still watching the news, you would watch stories. Most of those stories would be negative stories. Most of those stories would be of people getting hurt, or somebody robbing somebody, or somebody doing something really not good to other people. And you would see them on a local scale. You would see them on a macro scale. You would see them in your town, in your state, in your country, and all across the globe. And you would say, wow, well, you know what? That's not me. I'm sitting in my house on my couch, and I'm having my cup of coffee, and I can say, wow, at least I'm in a good spot. I hope those people are okay. Well, then what happens? What happens is you meet the narcissist. Now, all those things that you were watching on the news, they became part of your life, your reality. And now you're trapped and you don't know what happened, because the narcissist was wearing a mask to manipulate you. And they didn't want you to ever get that red pill. What they wanted was you to stay stuck in the blue pill, so you would continue to be subservient to them, work for them, and do anything they wanted you to do. You see, the narcissist did not want you to get clarity. They did not want you to crack the code. They did not want you to put yourself back together, and they definitely didn't want you to realize what they were doing. Referencing that movie that I shared earlier, The Matrix. It's a fantastic movie, way ahead of its time. And you know what? Truth be told, as I'm creating this video in real time, of course, without a script, for any of you people who think I have a script, you really need to just get over it. When you realize that the matrix was exactly where you were trapped, not the exact part of the movie, but you were in a narcissistic fog, a trauma bond, the devaluation stage, and nobody knew what was going on other than you. But when you get out, you see things crystal clearly. When you realize that, then you can pause and reflect and say, wait, I'm out. I was someplace that I didn't even realize where I was. That's where most of the people I'm communicating with right now are, which is in reference to not only the everyday fog, but different aspects of narcissistic relationships. When you're out, you stay out. That's why I've shared in videos over the years, going no contact, blocking that person, deleting them, removing them and all flying monkeys and people associated with them will help you massively. It will really help you heal. Now, is it the answer? No. There is no magic wand, no magic pill, no pun intended. See, it's all coming together. It's all tying together now that you can take. Now, in that movie, Neo, in the movie The Matrix, I believe, was the one that had the option to take the pill. You don't have that option because that was a movie. What you do have is a different option, though, because there is no magic pill to be consumed. You have the option to continue to focus on yourself and heal and learn and become the strongest, most galvanized version of yourself known to humankind, which is exactly what I do every day. Or you can stay stuck and you can say, yeah, you know what? The narcissist took advantage of me and I can't believe they did that, and keep beating your head against the wall and saying, I can't believe that they would do that, etc., etc. Well, we all, and I was one of those people in the beginning of the healing path, we all are broken. We all are fractured. We're in disbelief. We're shocked. We're shell-shocked. We are experiencing, most of us, the discard, which we didn't want to deal with. We didn't want to deal with the narcissistic relationship either because we didn't know these were prevalent on the planet. But when you wrap your head around the fact that you were broken in 1,000 pieces, probably in 10,000 pieces, but that's not where you are now because you've chosen to work on yourself, essentially taking the red pill. When you realize that, then you understand that you can't unsee what you've seen. You can't unexperience what you've experienced. You can't unhear what you've heard. And now you have a skill set. You have a superpower that very few people on the planet will ever acquire. I have it because that is why I create videos, to keep you as strong as you can possibly get, to pay it forward, to help out people who don't even know that they need help. Because at one point, we all were what is known as the new supply. I was as well. Being the new supply is not who you want to be. Being in the everyday fog is not where you want to be. I'm going to pause for a moment. You may say, well, yeah, you know what? I wish I could erase the whole thing. I didn't know what I know, and I could take that blue pill, like in The Matrix, which that Neo person did not take, and you could go back in time. Well, if you were to do that, and I've shared this year after year for over 5 years, then what would have happened with you? Yes, you're right. You're getting it now. You would have met another narcissist, and that person may have actually expunged or expired or exterminated or extinguished you. That's not reality. What reality is, you met the person, unfortunately, that you were supposed to meet. Now, do I wish you didn't have to meet that person? Yeah, I do, but that's not reality. I wish I didn't have to go through this cycle myself, but I did, and that's why I'm here. And that's why I continue to pay it forward, and I will for the rest of my life. But unlike Neo in the movie The Matrix, you didn't take a pill. You were given a massive roofie. You believed the mask. You were trapped, tricked, manipulated, blamed, shamed. You were abused. You were being treated less and less than a complete stranger. And it was getting worse and worse and worse, and you didn't know a way out. Well, what happened? Of course, you know what happens now, or what happened now. The discard happened, or perhaps you're one of the stronger people. We are all strong, all of us that have healed or trapped in these cycles of relationships. But maybe you're one of the people that kicked the narcissist to the curb. If you did that, fantastic. Any way you cut it, you have to go no contact, block that person, and delete them. Any way you cut it, the 4 ties must be removed. The emotional, financial, physical, spiritual tie. Any way you cut it, you need to understand that you've been activated. Just like in that movie, The Matrix. And you may say, why are you focusing on that movie so much? Think about things. I am learning. Not only am I learning, but I am doing the deep dive on many, many different avenues of education to pay it forward to help you out so you don't have to do it. If you choose to do it, do it. I would do it if I were you, but what I do is I'm going down different rabbit holes of education and exploration. And with every nugget of wisdom I acquire, if it fits a video, I will put it in the video, and that's what I'm doing with The Matrix. You see, you were trapped in a place you didn't know existed. Now that you're out, and let's say that you've healed, I will fast forward. If you've healed, your mindset has been changed forever. You are not in the everyday fog. You're not being abused any longer. You've now been activated, as I've shared. Activated means you see things crystal clearly. You can read energy perfectly. You were trapped in a narcissistic abusive cycle and you're out. And you've gone no contact and you've rebuilt just like I have. Now again, I shared with you a moment ago. I fast forwarded that part because a 15-minute video can't do the whole topic justice. But I'm letting you know something. There's a reason that movie was created almost 30 years ago. There's a reason these times in 2026, which is approximately 27 years ago, that things feel a little bit different than they did last year or the year before or the year before. There's a reason you can't talk the way you used to talk with your peers or your colleagues or the people that are the non-toxic people, because you get bored. It's mundane. You can't talk about sitcoms. You can't talk about the weather. You can't talk about just complete lackluster things that everyday fog people talk about. You can't do it. You're not that way any longer. This is why, and I'll tie it all together for you. That's why there are 3 versions of you. There's the version you were before you met the narcissist. There is your blue pill, the person who you were thinking everything was kumbaya. It was all puppies and rainbows and snickerdoodles and unicorns and everybody had your best interest at heart. That's how I saw the world. Then you meet the narcissist. Now you're trapped. You don't know what's going on. Everything around you is falling apart. You cannot make a right move to save your life because no matter which way you turn or what you do or don't do, the narcissist is punishing you. They're peppering you. They're abusing you. And they were taking you for granted, trying to burn out you and your fuel source. What is fuel source? It's your supply. It's your time, energy, money, love, empathy, everything you did or possessed and gave to the narcissist. Then that relationship ends. No matter how it ends, it ended. And what did you have to do? Well, you had to watch the narcissist slither off into the abyss, going elsewhere to other sources of supply. You also had to figure out what narcissism was, which was a massive task to undertake, but you did it. Then you began to do the deep dive on yourself. The rest is history. Here you are. You've now been activated. You now consumed the red pill. Now, does the red pill exist? No. But as I shared, and I talked an awful lot here with nuggets of wisdom, but I tie together the movie The Matrix with the red pill, the blue pill, how you see things differently. You're not in the everyday fog. You're not in the first version of you. You are entering or in the third version of you. And that is why you cannot communicate with as many people properly as you used to, because you're on a higher vibrational energy level. Now, for anybody who is in the everyday fog, and maybe that's you and you're watching the video and you were never trapped in a narcissistic relationship, it's not a bad thing. I was like you were for most of my life. My hope is you never encountered the apex predator, the narcissist. My hope is you never experienced gaslighting, triangulation, rage fits, financial abuse, on and on and on. My hope is you're watching this video to prepare yourself for the potentiality of what may happen down the road, which means not that you get trapped in a narcissistic relationship, but you encounter them and you know how to combat them and deal with them. But for those of you who haven't been in narcissistic abusive cycles, that's a great thing. You don't want to be in one. The last thing you want to be in is in a narcissistic abusive cycle. I don't care if it's for 1 minute or 50 years. You don't want anything to do with it. It will scar you forever. It will change you forever. And it will not, and I mean not, be something you will be able to get over in a moment's notice. It doesn't work that way. That's why this is the healing path. That's why you have to heal. That's why you have to understand that most people don't even know what you're talking about because they can't fathom it and they can't wrap their head around what you're saying. Those of us who were trapped and have healed, and those of us who have been activated, you'll notice the themes here in this video. I'm talking about activation, I'm talking about red pill. I mentioned the Matrix multiple times. I mentioned the everyday fog. I'm talking about the third version of you. You need to play this video multiple times, and I'm sorry for raising my voice there, but this is one of the most important videos I've ever created because you need to understand if where you are is where you want to be, that's a fantastic thing. If where you are is not where you want to be, there's work to be done. But you are no longer in the everyday fog. You can't go back. You cannot put the toothpaste back in the tube. You can't put the genie back in the bottle. You can't go back to the first version of you. You do not want to go back to the second version of you, and you have no choice but to embrace the third version of you, which is the strongest, most galvanized version of you known to humankind. That's the version I'm in. That's the version so many other people have entered, and that is where you are either arriving at or working towards getting at, which is arriving at the mountaintop, the pinnacle of indifference. I will say this, then I'll close the video. If you haven't seen that movie, The Matrix, I would suggest taking a look at it. It's got a lot of nuggets of wisdom in there. There's narcissism, there's toxicity, there's energy, there's empathy, there's love, there's abundance, and there's way much more, or way more than that. But if you watch that movie, if you were to, and you maybe scratch your head saying, why are you suggesting to watch movies? You don't watch movies. Well, you would be correct. But when a movie crosses my path that is important, and I can create a video and pay it forward to educate people, I will gladly do it. And The Matrix is the perfect movie to do that with. Having said that, when you realize that you're different than everybody else, you were in a place you didn't even know existed, you're out and you've healed, and that's why people get burnt out, or that's why people were getting burnt out when you were talking about your experiences. But see, people like myself who've healed and who have made it, and at the same time we're trapped in a narcissistic relationship, we can finish your sentence like that. At least I can. Having said all those things, you need to understand there is no magic pill that can be consumed to erase what happened. There is no magic wand that can be waved. You need to focus on yourself and believe in yourself the way I believe in you. And you need to understand that there are an awful lot of people out there that are good people. And I'm one of them, and I'm certain you're one of them. But we were targeted, we were taken advantage of, and we were existing in a place that the narcissist knew that they had placed us. It wasn't the everyday fog. It certainly wasn't the third version of you. It was the narcissistic fog. It was the trauma bond. It was the devaluation stage. We are out, we've healed, we've ascended and elevated, and now the onus is on us to maintain our boundaries and to continue to pay it forward and stay as strong as we possibly can, and let the narcissists slither to fewer and fewer places that they can find supply sources, because the narcissist days are numbered. Just like in that movie, The Matrix, that was created years ago. The goodness triumphs. The empath wins, the narcissist loses, the toxicity has no place else to go to. And we are now on that S-curve of momentum where the goodness is just very, very close to arriving. It's on the tip of the turning point, meaning the narcissists ran the roofs. They ran the planet for all these centuries and thousands of years. Their days are over. They're coming to an abrupt close, and they know it. So you have to do your part, maintain your boundaries, maintain no contact, and remove toxicity from your life. And understand something. Just like in the Matrix, you have been activated. You can't unsee what you've seen. I love you all. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning, no matter where you are on the planet. You are not alone. I love you all, and I'll talk with you tomorrow. Couple things. One, being activated, that's a new term I came up with not too long ago, but it's true. I've been activated. You've been activated, whether you know it or not. That's not a bad thing. Now, if you're one of the people that believes that the narcissist still loves you and cares about you, there's work to be done. The narcissist doesn't love you. They've never cared about you. They don't care about anybody. And the third part I will share before I close the video, if you are a person who was trapped in the cycle, you're out, you've healed, and you see things crystal clearly the way I can, you know what I'm talking about. Please drop comments below, pay it forward, help those people who don't even know that they need help, and help those people who are asking for help by posting comments, by paying it forward, maintaining your boundaries, and helping the collective consciousness of the planet get as strong and empathetic and united as possible. I love you all, and I'll talk with you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Bye.